Hi. So we're just going for a walk. I don't know why these things always feel awkward when I first start them. I don't know, maybe it's because I think about it, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Because you know how weird this feels sometimes? Especially just like everything that I'm doing in that group, it feels very weird to me. Because I go, why? Why do I need to do that? I know, it's because I'm following my instructions by my Lord, but you know, the hard thing about being me is that I just do the things, right? We understand what intuition is, right? You have this intuitive sense, I need to go here, I need to go there, I need to do this, I need to do that. Yeah, it's just like that. But the tricky part with following those intuitive nudges is that you don't have anyone to confer with. you know what I mean? It's like all right, I feel my instinct, my intuition is telling me I gotta walk the normal path today. Why? I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know. I just know I have to do it. I just have to go do a thing right now. Like you don't get that. Like I don't get the luxury. Derek, why are you doing that? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know until whatever happens. That's what I mean. A rabbi put it really good. He's like, the thing that God loves most about the Jews is like we just do. We don't do first, ask questions later. Why did I have to do that? You'll find out. Don't worry about it. Huh? Because that's the way it works, you know? That's how God reveals himself to us, by making us do crazy shit. Seeing if we got the balls to actually do some crazy shit. And then once we do it, then it's like, dude. Then we get the rewards for what we did after the fact. And it's like, whoa, it wasn't for nothing. I wasn't fucking crazy. That's good. That's definitely good. Hold on. Just in case. You really don't know. I never really know what the fuck I'm doing. I mean, it feels like it some days, but... What's up, man? How you doing? All right. What's up, man? Yeah, please. Yeah. You know, Man, you sure you don't mind? Cool. My life, I live without money. So my deal is like...
You know what I mean? Listen, bro. It's not an issue for me, my friend. It's not an issue. Okay?
You're fine with that number. You got it late? The one thing I forgot. I appreciate it. Dude, I really do appreciate this, by the way.
Listen, I understand, bro. It's not a problem.
Okay. I was thinking about it this morning. And I know it's not a problem, but I was thinking about it this morning and I'm like, fuck, I'm that dude. I'm that dude that everybody knows. They're like, oh, that guy with the fucking cigarettes.
Otherwise I wouldn't call you over.
Yeah, there's that.
You know what I mean?
Cool, man. How long have you been here? How long have you lived here?
I just got back October 2nd.
October?
I was Georgia.
Okay. Now, you originally from here, or?
Yeah, I'm from here. From Egg Harbor Township.
Okay. I'm from,
Keep it.
I'm originally from Toms River,
Okay.
from that area.
What are you doing? You live down here now?
Yeah, I live with my family. I had, how do you say it? Spiritual, like
Revelation?
my life. Just have married, kids, house. It was just like, my life fell apart.
Yeah.
But then once it fell apart, it's like, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea how much I needed that.
Yeah, I
Actually, I
understand.
did, but then once it happened, it was just a miracle. It was literally a miracle.
Yeah.
But the fucked up thing is like, a fucking 13-year career.
What were you doing?
I was in the graphic industry.
Really?
Yeah. So
Computer graphics?
yeah, so I didn't actually. I wasn't like a designer or anything. I was more like the management.
Okay.
So I was running a vehicle wrap shop, and then I moved on to the last place I was working at was a vending truck manufacturer.
Okay.
So I was running their graphic department. So we get all the trucks wrapped,
Right, yeah,
cool
yeah.
stuff. But I fucking hated it. Oh my God, I fucking hated it so much.
Yeah.
Oh my
man,
God.
I know that fucking feeling. Dude, I used to cook. I used to cook for years, and the last fucking cooking job I had in Georgia, it's never fucking again. I'm never fucking stepping foot in kitchen
Yeah.
again, dude. I can't stand it. I won't even cook for myself. I'll heat shit up. But I hate it. You know, when shit fell apart for me, I said, you know what, fucking, let me go home and get my shit together. So,
Hell yeah.
you know, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, like I ended up getting into like I used to drink constantly.
Yeah.
But not I won't say I was an alcoholic. I just needed it. It was my fucking medicine.
That was your vice.
Otherwise,
Your vice,
I
yeah.
would have fucking killed everyone.
Dude, I haven't had a drink in February 2nd, it'll be 3 years.
Okay.
'Cause that's how bad I used to drink. I was a very bad alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For years, dude. I drank for over 30 years. And then when I finally went to rehab and I fucking quit drinking, you know, shit starts falling back into place the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was fucking out there, dude. No fucking, like, I literally had no purpose. I was like, I can't do this shit, you know? I started thinking about fucking different shit, and I was like, let me go home, get it back, you know, fucking just do what I do.
Exactly. That's how it happened too. It's
Yeah.
like I took 2 months off because I started smoking pot.
I smoke weed. I have weed in my system daily. I have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It regulates me. I only eat gummies now, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll smoke, but normally I just have my gummies.
Yeah, I have to. I do it for like because I technically now I do work for myself.
Uh-huh.
There ain't no money involved, but the payoff is a lot better.
Right.
It's like it's there. But I like to work with pot because I do a lot of Torah study.
Okay.
So what that helps me with is like just fucking going to fucking crazy places when I need to. But when I stopped the drinking, I had one of those epiphanies.
Yeah.
And I realized like, yo, my life is fucked up. God damn. God damn. This woman fucking hates me. I hate her. That kid hates me. I can't stand him. Like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell have I done?
Yeah. Why am I fucking
Oh my
putting
God.
myself through this bullshit?
That was the first time I had been sober since I was like fucking 15.
Yeah. I understand.
Oh. So, but the fucked up thing, the amazing thing is like, as soon as that happened, things just, over the next like several months, things just fell right into place without me even having to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up getting like, I started studying like astrology, tarot cards, magic, like really cool shit.
Yeah, cool. I'm into that type of shit. Yeah.
So it got to a point where like my and then my ex and my son, they fucking moved out. They didn't like the way I was going. I ain't gonna chase you. You wanna go? Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah.
It was nice knowing you. And even him, I mean, he just turned 17 in August, but I haven't seen him in 6 years.
Really?
And it's not necessarily by choice, but again, I ain't chasing. I reach out once in a while, like, you want to talk?
That's fine.
All right, cool,
Yeah,
no problem.
I tell people all the time, let me tell you, I have no problem cutting people out of my life. I don't give a fuck who it is. 'Cause
Exactly.
if we can't be a benefit to each other, even if it's just down to happiness, and, you know, being able to be around someone and not be fucking on edge and walking on eggshells, then I don't fucking need you in my life, dude.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck who it is. I'm sorry. I've cut several of my kids off at points at a time until they reach back out like, yo, Oh, I'm not playing them games, man. You're fucking grown. You're too old for this shit.
Yeah.
You know, so
See, we let the boy make his own decisions from really early because we were fuck ups. So it was just like we were the same way. We raised ourselves, so we were there. But at the same time, it's like make your own fucking choice. I mean, granted, now I mean, like I am a little bit of a dictator.
Right.
So
right.
and that's
Old
what
school.
that's what he didn't. For the most part,
Yeah,
like my
I'm
father
old
let me
school,
do whatever
bro.
the fuck I wanted. But once I stepped the fuck out of line,
it's
yo,
a problem. You have to have a correction.
the man never had to hit me once in my entire life because he
Yeah.
had that fucking look, and he knew, and I knew. You take one more step.
It's a problem.
He told me one. I was 20. I was living with. I moved out of my mom's. I went to go stay with him for like 5 years. Best decision I ever made. But he was living in this condo unit up in Belmar. So I remember I pissed him off one day. He's like, "Yo, how about this? Do you want me to kick the fucking shit out of you? I'm gonna fucking bring you out to the courtyard, beat the shit out of you, so everybody sees what the fuck I did. How do you want that?"
Hey.
Nope. I'm good. Thank you, Daddy. but yeah, it's I got really into that stuff. I wanted to know more about how it worked. I wanted to know the mechanics behind it. I'm sorry, astrology, tarot cards,
Right.
all that. And probably about like within, I started to notice like finally, like I'm doing, like it was putting
clicking.
parts of my brain
Yeah.
to work that had
Yeah.
always been like fucking depressed.
Right.
So, and dormant, yeah.
Yeah.
So, about, I'd say maybe like 6 months later, I started to recognize after they were gone, I was putting so much time into all of that, like my job's now getting in the way.
Right.
And I'm like, and there was no money coming through, but I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I ain't got these fucking people. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to get rid of fucking money.
Right.
So one day, the fucking job gave me an opportunity, and I said, all right, good, fuck you. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking put all my shit into this. And it was the best decision I ever made.
Good.
Like that 50 hours I got back a week is now getting put into this.
Right.
Hell,
Something that you're interested in that you actually like.
exactly.
You know what I mean? What's that old saying? If you're doing something you like, you never fucking work it.
Exactly.
You know? So.
But I look at it a little bit different because you know what, that actually popped in my head the other day. If you love your job, you're not a fucking slave.
Yeah.
If you don't like what you're doing, you're not working, you're slaving.
Yeah, you're slaving.
Yeah.
It's fucking slaving. You're absolutely
And I refuse to go back. I refuse to ever go back to that.
Yeah.
Like my brother, he works for Hugo Boss in Atlantic City. And I worked there for a little bit, like as an experiment. Because I take my shit really seriously and I wanted to see how I would fare in public.
Right.
And I was fucking great. I killed it. But at the same time, working for Hugo Boss, that's like a fucking slave camp over there. Those
Is
people,
it?
they got no respect for you, who you are, what you do. They don't give a fuck.
As long as you come to work and do your job, that's
Yeah,
it.
but I have standards, so
Yeah.
I don't make a good employee.
It's better to be your own boss.
Exactly.
You know? 'Cause
Exactly.
I'm a horrible employee.
Well, you know what I did? And I don't know, I think this was the fucking greatest idea I ever had. Thank you, God. Thank you, my Lord. Is I formed an LLC
Okay.
with the state.
Okay.
Because I had this idea, because the reason I quit in the first place was to follow the entrepreneurial path, right? So eventually in 2020, for my 40th birthday, that's what I got for myself, is I got it, I formed a legal entity because I looked at it like this. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with it.
Right.
I'll figure it out when I go, because
But
when
you
I
should
have
have
it, I have no choice but to think about it every
day.
fucking day.
So what are you planning on doing with it?
I'm doing with it. I'm already doing it.
What are you doing?
I study, practice, and teach Torah. So basically, you can say I'm a rabbi. So
The Torah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
my jam.
okay.
That's my
Nice.
jam. I wasn't raised Jewish. It was more something that I found myself. I've been pulled to it my entire life. My family, they're not religious at all.
Right.
They wipe their ass with God. Sorry, Merlin. So it was like I was the chosen one who got to be the pious, the
Okay.
pious one, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to, like, I can't follow a lot of religious stuff. Not a religious Jew.
Organized religion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a religious Jew. More of a what does it call it?
Orthodox?
No. Me and them, we got some issues. Ultra unorthodox.
Okay. Unorthodox.
Yeah.
Ultra unorthodox.
Ultra unorthodox.
Gotcha.
Very much. That whole mother thing, that thing with the moms. No. We don't follow that. in the book itself, it gives instructions on what to do when the mom's not Jewish. So it's like all that crap that they sell. It's all they made it up.
It's their rules.
They made it up for their rules. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's like my problem with them.
I agree.
I have some Orthodox associates, and we don't see eye to eye on things. But tough titties.
It is. It is
Yeah.
what it is. You're gonna be so neat, man.
Yeah, man.
Nice talking to you, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like to gab sometimes. Cool, man. Thanks again. What was that? Oh no, you go for that. Oh my god. That's so good. Now, if you watch one of the previous videos, I had mentioned that dude. That shit. If you watch one of the previous videos, like that dude's cool as fuck. I don't have to ask. He just offers, which is cool. I appreciate the fuck out of that. Oh my god, I had Newports too. Newport hundreds, and he gave me 3. He just gave me 4 the other day too. We never talked like that before. That was cool. I know everybody knows I'm a Jew. I make sure I let that out because not everybody likes the Jews. I'm a different kind of Jew, ultra unorthodox. Is that cool? One day I hope you watch these things. One day I hope you watch these things. Oh god, I feel so cringy thinking about it. No, there was actually a thing I wanted to talk about today. It is true. My family went to ask the God. Very disrespectful. But that wasn't very nice to say. Why did you have me say that? I said that. No, it's true. All right, let me collect myself because that kind of like threw me through a loop there having that conversation. I just like talking about myself, you know? I like to explain myself to people. I love explaining myself to people. It's one of my favorite things. Like this whole project, not just the group, but even recording and uploading these things. I need to be a people person. I need to be able to not be afraid to talk to people. That's what it is, you know. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I'm as talkative as I get, because it's important. My mission, my job, my role, what I do is just like really important. In a bigger picture type of deal. It's a big deal to me. My whole life is a big deal to me because of how bizarre my life is, just in relation to what it was, you know. I grew up thinking that life was a certain way, that life was like depressing, shitty, and that there was no hope in anything. And fucking God showed me the way. How you doing? My way is not everyone else's way, but I just say I don't push my shit. My boy Shannon, he ain't never heard of an ultra unorthodox Jew before. Spreading the word of ultra unorthodox Judaism. And that's ultimately what's going to happen. Is I will be remembered as the first ultra unorthodox Jew. Well, not the first, but there was at least one other. Rabbi Jesus was technically the first. Like the original Christians, they were all Jews. Christianity started off as a Jewish movement. It was a breakaway. It was not a breakaway religion as much as a breakaway philosophy. Because what was being taught at the time was antithetical to the actual teachings. And like I was saying to Shannon, that whole thing about a Jew has to have a Jewish mom, that's not true. That's not true. God even gives us instructions on what to do in the situations where an Israelite man has a child with a non-Jewish woman. I love that. I love my life experiences. Like that. I don't know. It always brings a smile to my face. No, but my original intention when I wanted to record this, I wanted to talk about my need, my desire, my want for a partner. I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and she had said, "I hope you find someone better than your ex." I understand what she meant, but I don't think it's a matter of finding someone better than my ex. It's just finding someone more aligned with me. Because it's a lot. I'm a lot. Am I a lot? Yeah. I have a way of living and perceiving the world that is uniquely mine. And I think that one of the benefits to the way I live my life is the fact that I'm not afraid to stand in my truth. And that's like the most important thing. Like I was saying to Shannon, after I had my wake-up call about my life, things just started falling into place, just without me even having to lift too much of a finger at all. Things just kind of like fell right into my lap. And it just opened my eyes to some shit. It opened my eyes to the possibilities of what can happen if I stop trying to control everything, if I stop trying to make my life this or make my life that. And while I was still in my house, while I was still doing card readings for people, I was trying to control it. I was trying to control the flow of how my life went. And the more I tried to control it, the more things fucking fell apart. And it was fucked up. It was really fucked up because everything I wanted was coming to me, but at the same time, everything else was falling away. It was scary as shit. Oh my God, it was scary as fuck, dude. I remember when my money started to really dwindle and the card readings weren't paying off at all. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do because I was so concerned with the money, but that was the test. Was to challenge me and to test me to see what I would do when money was taken out of the equation and how that would affect me if I would run back to the old way of life and whore myself out. How I would whore myself out just for a fucking buck. That's why I take such an extremist view on having a job, because it's like I said, it's not a matter of not working a day in your life by being happy with what you're doing. It's about not being a fucking slave, because that's the worst feeling in the world that I can think of. To feel like not just that there's no control, but also to feel like I'm under someone else's control. To feel like somebody else has control over my life and how it has to go. Like living my life based on someone else's schedule, which I won't do. And almost in a sense, like it's almost like contradictory. Because Because it's like, well, you don't want to live by someone else's schedule, but you give up your free will to God. Like, I don't understand. It's the same thing. It is the same thing, but it's not. It's like, how would I explain it? Do you want to have someone else tell you what to do, or do you want to figure it out for yourself? And that is also contradictory. So let me think. Hashem, help me with what I'm trying to get across. So okay. So see, now one of the benefits that I have is that if I have a question or if I'm stuck on something, I invoke Hashem, I invoke God to come through. Like, can you help me understand this? Can you help me better understand this? Because I'm having a tough time with it. And it's not always immediate, but every time it comes through to me, it comes down to me, the answer that I'm looking for. Or maybe even I'll just be walking and someone will say something and it'll trigger the response I'm looking for. I mean, when I left the house, I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of hoping I wasn't going to bump into him because I feel terrible that this guy always gives me cigarettes. I asked him for a cigarette the other day. He ended up giving me 4. But as you saw, like, he asked me. He asked me if I wanted one. And then he was knocked them out and 3 of them came out. And I'm like, fuck. Do you want me to take all 3? And and it's funny because I watch a couple like YouTube readers, and one of the general themes that keeps on coming through over the past couple of days is you need to learn how to just receive, to accept. When someone wants to give you something, don't really question it too much. Just accept it, which is hard. And you saw, like, I'm like, you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Just fucking take it. I wouldn't have asked. I wouldn't have asked otherwise. Nervous. I know, you can tell I'm nervous when I talk to people. Because, well, I mean, I am and I'm not. That's the point. Is like, that nervousness, it's a nervous response for me to start going on and on and on and on and on. But we had a really cool conversation that came out of it. Really cool dude. But that's the thing. Is like, I don't really know how. I was gonna say if. And Hashem, feel free to cut in here anytime that you want. But I don't know how or if this could even work with another person, you know? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what would that even look like? Like, if I had a woman in my life, because that's the way I look at it, as a woman in my life, not another fucking man. Like, how would that look? How would that work? What's she doing? What's she doing while I'm doing my thing? What the hell am I even doing? Am I doing the same thing I'm doing here? Because I got a feeling like all yesterday, I was in bed all day yesterday writing in the group. Like by around like 1 o'clock in the morning, my fingers are aching because of all the fucking typing I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm typing, just getting shit out, and it's really therapeutic for me because it's allowing me to tap into. And I know in the group, like I get on your ass and call you a whore and a bitch and a slut, stupid, an animal. Oh, like I I get into this zone, into this mood, not mood, but I get into this sense of empowerment, and I start talking down to you, and I feel like shit while I do it, but then I hear like, don't feel bad, because you're not literally talking to someone. You're not talking to no one. You're just venting out feelings and emotions, and I guess that's a big part of it too, is learning not to be afraid to feel certain ways, because those feelings, yeah, you know what, I feel it at the moment, but it's a temporary thing to help me get through it. You know what I mean? Instead of suppressing it and making believe that it's not there, we fucking pull it the fuck out. We air out the dirty laundry. Air out the dirty laundry. Let the stink come out of it, and then fold it back up and put it back in its place. And even by getting it out of my system, it frees me up so that I can, how do I say it? So I can then take that same passion, that same hype, that same energy, and apply it to somewhere else. So and that was a big thing with when I quit. Going back to what I was saying with Shannon is once I started to cut things and people out of my life, all of that excess stress and drama and madness got to be, I got to redirect that energy into other things that were more enjoyable to me. Like this is really enjoyable. I love doing this. I love talking. I love talking about things. I like breaking things down and examining them. I love the idea of just fixing problems. That's something I wrote last night. We were working through Philo. I'm so happy that we brought Philo into the group, because Philo is a man that I've been wanting to study for a while. Philo of Alexandria. He was a Hellenist Jew from the 1st century. He was a student of the Library of Alexandria, and he is known for his work in studying Greek philosophy, Greek math, Greek logic, and applying what he learned to his understanding of Torah, which the book that we're going through right now, On the Creation, is that, where this guy, he's applying everything he's learned from the Hellenists to his understanding of Torah, which is fucking amazing to me. It's like it's so alien, because there's nothing like that today. There's no universities where we dig into the actual philosophies of Moses, right? Like there's no guys like Philo who are breaking it down in the way that he is, and comparing lawmakers and other civilizations to what he accomplished. And that's a big thing about it. That's a big thing about Torah as well, is like people shit on the Bible and they take a dump on how creation is laid out. But when you really think about it, if you really take it into consideration, I know that modern science has their own philosophies on things, their own theories, but let's dial it back. Like how many like the Big Bang theory of the Big Bang is only what, a couple decades old, but you have someone like Moses who lived 3,337 years ago, And this fucking guy literally lays out the creation of the universe in such detail that technically he shouldn't have that. And it doesn't matter if he was 100% right or 100% wrong, because he wasn't 100. I'm not saying he was 100% right. I'm not saying he was 100% wrong, because there's a lot of stuff that's left out, like evolution. They didn't have a word for evolution back then. Philo even says it. He's like, not once ever has anyone else broken it down like this. This is the most comprehensive, detailed explanation for how the universe was put together, and it all came from this one man's imagination, from his own ideas. But what we're going to get into soon, probably tonight when we get back into the book, is the creator. Was there any other explanations for the creation of the universe that explain it as coming from the creator? I'm not saying that there's not. I just don't know. This is a genuine question. Like, is there another? I wanted to Google this. I mean, while we were working through it last night, and he said that, I'm thinking about other civilizations that have their own creation stories. But then we look at someone like the Native Americans, right? The indigenous Americans, right? They're talking about the great spider and the great grandmother. I don't know the full story behind what they were writing, but Moses knew enough that the sun and the moon were actual things, that the stars were actual things, not just fucking diamonds in the sky. Like these were literal bodies in the universe that orbit around the earth. It shit blows my mind. This is supposed to be a simple man. These are supposed to be simple people who are afraid of fire. But meanwhile, what sets them apart from everybody else that I'm aware of is that Moses is just listening to the voice in his head. To a degree. I mean, once we get into the story and we see how God literally revealed himself to the entire Israelite nation by making impossible shit happen, that the story sounds a little like unbelievable, but that's the point. God can't do believable things and expect you to believe that it's something miraculous. That's how he operates. He shows us things that only we can see, but that's the point. Not everyone is going to be able to comprehend what the fuck just happened right there. Like, to a degree, I'm even feeling it now. It's like Shannon, I can sense him already, just kind of like sitting there going, what the fuck just happened? He's going to tell all the people that he lives with too what happened. How he talked to, I fucking talked to that dude. Do you know that nigga was a fucking Jew? Ultra unorthodox. Have you ever heard of an ultra unorthodox Jew? He's going to Google, he's going to fucking find me. Wow, I'm about to blow up. I've been feeling it a lot. That's what a lot of the messages that I'm seeing online are coming at me. But also that's what God's been telling me too. He's like, this is a year. By the end of next year, you're going to be all over the place. You're not you're not destined to have a retirement plan, so to speak, in the traditional sense. And look at someone like Abraham, right? We've been following up with Abraham in Torah study. Like Abraham literally is the guy that revolutionized the idea of listening to the voice in your head and listening to following your calling. Like I Googled it, like what is a calling? And traditionally it's looked at like a calling is like those people that are called to be priests or into the theological realm. When I was living with my grandmother, right? I was raised to believe that priests don't have anything, that they live a life without stuff. Their lives are committed just to the service of God. That's how I was raised to believe. So I had this preconceived notion of who and what priests are and what they do and why. So when I first left my house, and I went to go stay with my father's mother. I was with her for like 2 months, right? She, while there, like she used to be a heavy church goer. There was a church literally right next to the apartments that she lived at. So I started going to the church. I started introducing myself because everybody knew my grandmother. My grandmother was one of the money counters. My grandmother was a money counter at the church for like fucking 40 years. So when I go there, I'm not saying celebrity status, but the staff, they know, everyone knows Libby. And once I started introducing myself, they knew me as Libby's grandson. So I used to go to morning mass every morning. I would go to morning mass and afternoon mass. So I would be doing 2 masses per day. Then on top of that, there was like extracurricular like support groups scattered throughout the week, and I was going to the support groups. I would just kind of go there, hang out, observe, chime in my 2 cents here and there. But something else that I would do is like I would hang out with the priests. I would not hang out, but I would talk to the priests and ask them questions and like really probe their minds to find out like what was it that brought you to this career path? Because at the time, like I felt called there. I felt called there. And I remember in that particular church, it was St. Dominic's in Bricktown. The first day I went there, it was in the middle of the day and there was no services at the time, but it's a really big campus. They have a school there. So basically the families that live in Brick, they got 2 choices. Either send your kid to public school or you send them to St. Dominic's. And so the campus itself, there's the school, but then there's also a huge fucking chapel. So when I went there, the chapel was closed, but you can come and go as you pleased. And I remember when I first got in there, I looked up. I don't know what drew my attention, but they got the Jesus up. They got Rabbi Jesus hanging up on the wall. And I remember I looked up, and there's like a ceiling, like a skylight, but the skylight had this pattern in it. It was a circle. It looked like a wheel. If you get your tarot cards, and you pull out the Wheel of Fortune, there's a wheel there, and it has some Hebrew letters and it has some symbols on it, in between the spokes. That symbol, minus the Hebrew and minus the symbols, but that wheel was up in the ceiling. Now, up until that point, I had been studying occult symbolism, esoteric symbols, and that fucking symbol in the wall, in the ceiling, that's my name. It says my name. It's one symbol, but there's 3 symbols in the symbol, if that makes sense. So you got a circle with a dot in the center. You got a circle with a plus sign, and then you have a circle with a multiplication sign, an X. And they're just overlaid on top of each other. And it looks like a wheel. But each one of those three symbols has a very specific meaning. The circle with a dot in it, that represents the sun. That's the astrological symbol for the sun. Then there's another symbol, a circle with a plus sign in it. That represents Earth, physical, the physicality. And then the circle with the X, multiplication sign. That's literally where our multiplication, addition, subtraction, like all of those symbols, all those mathematical symbols for just basic arithmetic, those symbols come from, they represent the elements. I mean, people know that. But the one with the multiplication, that represents water, like the flow of water. The life, the way. Water flows the way the water flows. So you have the sun, which represents truth. You have earth, which represents the life. And then water, which is the way. I am the life, I am the truth, the way, and the life. That's what Derek means. In Hebrew, that's what the word Derek means. The path, the way, the truth, and the life. So when I saw the ceiling, I don't know what it was. Like as soon as I looked up, I saw it. And immediately my mind just broke down the symbol into those three minor symbols. I saw all three of them in the one. And it dawned on me like, holy shit, that's my name in the ceiling. And symbolism. I remember I told the priest too. I told the head priest, Father Brian. I brought my notebooks in there with me when I had my first meeting with him, but at this point, like I didn't understand what a calling was. That word didn't enter my mind at all. And so when I would meet the priests, like sometimes they would have guest priests that would come in for the services, and after the service, I would chat with them for a little bit, and I would always ask every single one of them. I asked every priest that I met. I met about 4 or 5 of them, and every single one I met, I asked. I'm like, what pulled you to this? Like, what was it that? How did you know? I was looking for a very specific answer, and I didn't tell them that, and maybe I should have. But I never told them. I'm asking because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck. I don't go to church. I hate going to church. I hate Jesus. I hate God. Like, what the fuck am I here for? Why am I being pulled to this place? Why do I feel so compelled that I have to be here? And none of them gave me the answer I was looking for. Everyone did it just because it was just like kind of a thing. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Because I didn't really get it either. Like, you're just saying you did it because your family. You did it because there was nothing left. There was really nothing else for you to do. Not to mention the fact that they all got a salary. Priests get a salary. I didn't know that. They get paid. They all got nice watches. They all drive nice cars. Like, these aren't priests the way that I had been taught that priests are supposed to be. But the thing is, that's how priests are supposed to be, in the sense, like, they're not supposed to have anything. Like, in Torah study, once we get into the second and third book of Moses, there's rules that they have to follow. They don't have property. They don't have physical possessions. They can get married. They have to get married. That's the thing. Like, they have to get married, because you can't be a priest. Like, there's 12 tribes, right? 12 tribes from the 12 brothers. One of the tribes is called the tribe of Levi. Those are the priests if you are born of the tribe of Levi, if you have Levite blood in you, you are a priest. Because when God killed the firstborns of Egypt, he didn't want to do that. Like that was like, he felt like shit about it. And he says to the Israelites, like, listen, I killed the firstborns of Egypt to get you out of there. I own you. Every single one of your firstborns, be it a firstborn child, be it a firstborn of your herd, be it the first fruits of your crops, that all belongs to me. But I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to take the tribe of Levi and they belong to me. Because in the Bible, it gets into how the firstborns are the most, like, the firstborn children are the most important. Because they have, like, they got all the magic. All that magic that was in mommy and daddy gets injected into that child. So it's not even that the firstborn kids are just golden children just because, but it's literally, God declares that the firstborn children are the golden children of the family. They get all the best stuff. There's one commandment, there's one law, one mitzvah. Let's say a man has two children, has two wives, right? It's very specific. If a man has two wives, one wife he loves, one wife he doesn't really love, but he has a son with each one of those women. When he dies, he's got to, everything goes to the sons. Nothing goes to the daughters unless a man dies without a son. But in this particular scenario, the son of the wife that he did not love gets precedence over the son of the wife that he did love. And he doesn't have a choice. He has to give double portions to the one son. Meaning he gets the firstborn of the firstborns gets 2/3 of the father's inheritance, of the father's estate, while the second one, although he may be this favored son, he only gets 1/3. But now when it comes to that's just the general population. When it comes to the Levites, it's the opposite of nepotism. It's heretical in the sense that only certain people can be a certain class of priest. Right, so it's not just, think of it like the Catholic Church, right? You got the Pope, then you have the cardinals, then the bishops, then the priests, right? So it's basically that same hierarchy within Israelite society for the Levites, for the Levite priests. There's the high priest. Then any sons that the high priest has, they are obligated. They don't get a choice. You don't get a choice. You belong to God. The sons of the high priest must be priests. But at the same time, the high priest must be of a very specific bloodline. So Moses had a brother. And his brother was the high priest. His brother was appointed as the high priest. So only people who are of Aaron, his name is Aaron, only the sons of Aaron can be high priests. So you have to be a direct descendant of Aaron in order to be declared as a high priest. Aaron was the grandchild of Levi, one of the sons of Jacob. One of the 12 sons of Jacob was Levi. but he had more than one son. He had more than one son. I think he had like 3 or 4 sons. So the descendants of each one of those sons has a very specific role to play in the societal structure of the Levite priests. Like some are only allowed to carry stuff. Like some of them are like the workers. They pick things up and they put them down. Some of them are only allowed to minister to the people. Some of them are allowed to go into the temple. Some of them are not allowed in the temple. Well, no, everyone's allowed in the temple, but there's a special room. It's called the Holy of the Holies. Only a select few people are allowed to go into that room. Anybody else caught going in there is sentenced to death. Anyone caught telling a priest, a Levite, how to do his job, is sentenced to death. And very strict. But that's why people don't do it. You don't go into the fucking church and tell the priest how to fucking do his job. And even the societal structure, if you look at the Israelite societal structure, it's fucking perfect. It's so perfect. It's designed to be perfect. So why did it fail? Because you got to understand the timeline too. Not just the timeline, but just the experiences of the people themselves. They had just been taken out of slavery. These people were still stuck in that slave mindset, so it was difficult for them to acclimate themselves to the rules. And plus there comes a point, like once we get to the end of Deuteronomy, God actually says, once the land's settled, once you conquer Canaan and all the territories are settled, I'm taking a step back because I just want to watch. I want to see what happens if the people don't have anyone telling them what to do, if they can follow the rules. And eventually Israel falls. Eventually Israel falls, right? So now one of the benefits of today, and then this is kind of going back to what Philo was saying last night, in the sense that when someone follows the law to the letter, because the law is literally calibrated to the resonance of the force that regulates the entire universe. The sun and moon cycles of the stars, because it's the stars orbit too. The stars cycle around as well. So there's an invisible line in the sky. There's an invisible track that the sun follows around the earth. From the perspective of Earth. And same thing with the moon. The moon has a very precise track that it follows. And there's only 2 points where the track of the moon and the track of the sun intersect each other, and they just happen to be at complete opposite ends of the sky. They're literally a 180 degree differential between the two of them. Those 2 points. That's the lunar nodes. That's where eclipses happen. That's why when the sun and moon and the earth are, all 3 of them are aligned on those 2 points. And it's like, who the fuck did all this math? Who did all the math? People say everything's random, chaos. There ain't nothing chaotic about any of this stuff. Because it's all everything is like fucking clockwork. Like clockwork. Right now, eclipse season is technically kind of over, right? The next eclipse, the next solar eclipse is going to be on the Pisces new moon, which is going to be between February 19 and March 19. So in that window of time, there's going to be a new moon, but that new moon is going to be a solar eclipse. How do I know that? Because the two lunar nodes, they orbit, they go around the Earth as well, but they go in the opposite direction as the planets. Let's say the planets go counterclockwise, the lunar nodes orbit the Earth clockwise. And they shift from sign to sign every about year and a half. It takes 19 years for them to do a full 360 degree rotation around the Earth. Well, technically it's like 370 or 350 degrees. 350, 355, maybe like 354 degrees every 19 years. It's fucking wild. So where the lunar nodes are right this second, right? The exact degree and minute in relation to the Earth, Moon, and Sun. In 19 years, they're going to be in the exact same position, minus about 5 degrees. And then 19 years later, same position, but maybe about 5 degrees behind. But now at the same time, now check this out. Every 19 years to the fucking day, within a range of up to plus or minus 20 hours, the sun, moon, and the Earth perfectly realign with each other to where they were 19 years prior and 19 years in the future. So right now, what time is it? It's 2:37 p.m. on November 10th. On November 11th, oh shit. This is the day I went to Dallas. This is literally the day that I went to Dallas from Laredo. I remember I timed it like this on purpose. It was 11:11. 19 years ago today, so November 11th, 2005. November 11, 2005, the sun and the moon were in the exact same position in relation to where they are right this second, in relation to the Earth. So 19 years ago, at 2:37, the sun was in that spot. If I was standing right here, I can't see the moon in the sky. I can't see the moon in the sky, but if I did, it would be in the exact same position that it was in 19 years ago to the day. In a range of up to plus or minus 20 hours. That's pretty fucking precise. So when people say that like lunar calendars, like those type of calendars don't work, it's not true. It doesn't work the way that you want it to work. The perfection of it is encoded within its imperfection. The slight imperfection is the perfection of the system itself. But that goes to a point of not intelligent design, but intelligent engineering. People don't want to talk. People don't like the idea of intelligent design. That's all right. Don't worry about it. But let's call it intelligent engineering instead, because that's what it is. There's an engineering scheme that is that's encoded within the fucking the fabric of the fucking universe. But people don't see it. People don't want to see it because there's other agendas that are at play. Because if we start getting into intelligent engineering, if we start getting into the realm of intelligent engineering, that has the potential to shatter every single thing that modern science has come to build up. Every story that modern science has come to build up over the past centuries. Few centuries, mind you. And mind you, a lot of this has to do with the church. You don't even know this. Or maybe you do. But the calendar system that we have today, the Gregorian calendar, was designed by Pope Gregory. I don't have his notes. I don't know of any journals that he wrote while he was designing the Gregorian calendar system. Why the months are designated the way that they are, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't understand. I know that the Gregorian system is an evolution from the Julian calendar, which was designed by Julius Caesar. Well, that's what it says, at least. But even back then during the reign of Julius Caesar, before him, everyone was using a lunar calendar, which is the way it's supposed to be. The sun was engineered so that we can use it to calculate days and years. The moon is there to designate months. Now, at the same time, and now, mind you, and this is a big thing, but it doesn't take away the relevancy of it, is that these systems are designed to follow a geocentric model of the solar system, right? Meaning that the Earth is the center and everything orbits around the Earth. And that may or may not be the case, but from the perspective of Earth, everything orbits the Earth. If we were to go on the moon, right? If you and me were if we were to go travel to the moon and build a life for ourselves on the moon with nobody else bothering us. From the perspective of the moon, well, technically, from the perspective of the moon, the Earth's going to stay stationary. The Earth's not going to orbit. It's just going to move up and down like this. It's wild. The Earth is going to spin like a top, but it's also going to wobble up and down. From the perspective of the moon. Because the moon doesn't rotate. It doesn't orbit. It doesn't spin around its own axis. Only the Earth does. But now my question would be, what does the sun look like from the perspective of the moon? If we were to stand on the moon for a whole year, right? Would we see the sun orbit around us? What does that look like? You gotta understand, every planet has its own astronomy. And I'm not talking about modern day science astronomy. Just take that out of the picture. Not throw it away, but just take it out of the picture because it doesn't. What is it serving you? How does modern astrophysics? How does that serve you? I mean, great. There's technology with satellites and space mission, whatever the fuck they do. It's not that there is no purpose for it. But there's a general fact, and people don't understand this. You learn this in basic astrophysics class. Nobody knows for certain. Nobody knows for certain that the Earth orbits the sun. It makes the most sense. That's the reason why we say it does, because it makes the most sense. It's the most logical explanation for certain phenomena. Now, if you actually Google how we disprove geocentric astronomy, which is essentially astrology. But astrology and astronomy, they're two different things. What I do technically isn't astrology. It's astronomy. Astrology isn't even a thing. I mean, it is a thing, but it's not what we are led to believe it is. Entirely. It is and it is not. That's why the heliocentric system, where the sun is we go around the sun, and the geocentric system, they work in tandem with each other. Did you know that there's heliocentric astrology? There's a kind of astrology that is different from what we're used to. We look at astrology now, and it has Earth as the center. There's another school of astrology where the sun is the center. And realistically, we can't say that the Earth is not the center of the galaxy. It is. The Earth is the center of the known universe. There's no denying that. How can we say that? Very simply. Because everything we know about the universe, the solar system, the universe, the galaxy, everything we know about all those systems is based from Earth. So all of our knowledge expands outward from Earth. So if you think of the known universe as a big sphere, right? Earth is at the very center of that sphere because we don't know where the center point is. Now, scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he'll say like it's egocentric to say that the Earth is the center. Okay, so what? So the fuck what? Because I can tell you this right now, and I'm sure that pop culture astronomy can do the same thing, but I can tell you with certainty, 99.998% certainty, that the next new moon, that the next solar eclipse is going to be when the sun is in Pisces, which is going to be within the window of February 19th and March 19th. In that window, there's going to be a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. The sun is going to be in Pisces, the moon is going to be in Virgo, and there'll be a lunar eclipse. And it's going to be 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after the solar eclipse. And it's going to be the first solar eclipse in Pisces in 19 years. About 19 years. Next year, there's going to be another solar eclipse in Pisces. And then the year after that, there might be one more. Maybe one more. Before the nodes shift again. And it's going to be in Aquarius. So in about 2 years, time, we're going to have the next solar eclipse is going to be in Aquarius and Leo. So next year. Oh, I think I cracked it. Bear with me. Now, mind you, I didn't go to astronomy school. I didn't go to a prestigious university to learn astronomy. I figured this stuff out on my own. I learned all this on my own. I've been growing up with the myth. I've grown up with the myth that geocentric astronomy doesn't work. That there's no value to it. Bullshit. Bullshit. I've been studying it for 6 years. 6 years. That's it. Not that long. And I have figured out, thank you Hashem, I figured out how to use the sun and the moon as a calendar. And because of what I learned by studying astrology, I understand how all lunar calendars work. So for instance, in my posts, right? In those posts, I always put the Jewish date and the Islamic date. And there's a reason I do that, because I'm trying to synchronize myself. I know the Jewish calendar very well. I understand the Jewish calendar better than I understand the Gregorian calendar, believe it or not. The Jewish calendar is divided up into 19-year cycles. Don't worry if you're not following any of this stuff. The Jewish calendar is divided up into 19-year cycles. Like I was saying before, every 19 years, the sun and the moon and the earth, they realign with each other. In that chunk of time, there are 7 leap years. A lunar year is not equal to a solar year. But 19 lunar years is precisely 19 solar years. So every 2 to 3 years within that 19-year window, we have a leap year. So every lunar year essentially is about 12 and change lunar cycles. It's like 12 and a half, 12 and a quarter actual full lunar cycles. Every 2 to 3 years, those chunks, those little pieces, those fractions of a lunar cycle, they add up to one full lunar cycle. So every 2 to 3 years, a 13th month is added to the lunar system. So instead of 12 lunar months, there's 13 lunar months. And it's like clockwork. It's always the same. There's no deviation. The first 2 years of the cycle, we're in a 9 year right now. So that means in 10 years, we still have 10 more years of the current cycle before everything resets. 9 years ago, the current 19-year cycle began. 19 years prior to that, 9 years ago, what was 9 years ago? 2013? 2015. 2015, yeah, when my father died. Literally, when the fucking year my father died. That was when the cycle, that's when, it's called a metonic cycle. That's when the metonic cycle clicked over and began anew. The fucking year my father died. Of course. So within the metonic cycle, there's 19 years, right? That's what I said. There's 19-year chunks. Every third, 6th, 8th, 11th, 14th, 17th, and 19th year is a leap year. Which means on the leap years, it's also called a pregnant year, and there's a reason for that. It's a pregnant year, and there's a 13th month added to the calendar. Now here's a cool thing. The 13th month is called Adar 1. The 13th month comes before the 12th month. Only on leap years. Otherwise that month doesn't, otherwise, try to make sense of this. The 13th month and the 12th month are one. Think of it like a subdivision of a embryo, right? Once the sperm goes into the egg, right, it's one cell, but then it kind of subdivides into two. That's literally the mindset of the 13th month, is that it subdivides out from the 12th month. It's called a pregnant month because, how do we put it? Try to imagine the 13th month, the 12th month acts as like the womb. The 13th month is like the embryo. So over the course of the 30 days of the 13th month, that little embryo is growing. It's gestating. Over the course of the 12th month, once we get into the 12th month, that's like the birth canal. That over those 30 days, that baby that we've just been growing is now coming out of the birth canal. Now, the Jewish calendar system, the Rosh Hashanah isn't the Jewish New Year. Passover is. So we go from Adar 1 to Adar 2 into Nisan. Nisan is the first month of the Jewish year. Once we get to Adar 1, that's the baby crowning. Does that make sense? It's very symbolic. It's not literal. It's abstract thinking. It's abstract science, which is antithetical to rigid logical science, rational science. It's called supra-rational. S-U-P-R-A, supra-rational. Where it's not absurd. Where we borderline, we come to the border of where rationality and absurdity meet, but we don't cross. It's just enough to go, fuck, god damn it, they were right. And that's what science doesn't want. Science is okay with saying, oh, well, you know, we were wrong. It could have been this, it could have been that, blah, blah, blah. The last thing science wants is to find out that the Jews were right. Tough shit. The Jews were right the whole time. And I'm not talking about the Orthodox Jews. I'm talking about the Jews that predate the Orthodox modern Judaism. Fuck, man. Holy shit. This is serious shit. And you're gonna tell me that I need to get a fucking job. Come on now. What the hell is this gonna do? What is this gonna do? Me working at fucking 7-Eleven. Nigga, you got the fucking secrets of the universe. What the fuck are you doing? Exactly. I've already decided. Like, I have the Toxic Order, right? That's my umbrella. Toxic Order is my umbrella. It's my umbrella company. Within the Toxic Order, there are multiple, many subsidiary entities. One of them is called the Magitech Industries. I came up with Magitech Industries a while back. The sole purpose of Magitech Industries is for me and Elon Musk. Because I am going to be BFFs with Elon Musk one day. Why? Because the guy, he's got all the science and he's got all the money. I need a money guy. Unless I'm meeting a billionaire lady. But he's like me in the sense that he is thinking outwards into the future. I don't know how far outwards into the future he's thinking. I know that I know that Elon Musk is like a nerd like me. He loves Dune. I think he likes Dune. I would imagine he seems like a Dune guy. But I know that if I sat down with Elon Musk, the future that he sees of man escaping the boundaries of just the terrestrial plane is that he wants to see a future like Dune, where humanity has populated the stars. And I'm with him 100% on that. But the only difference is that my descendant is the Kwisatz Haderach. It's the Muad'Dib. In Dune 2, when Muad'Dib learns how to travel through his genetic ancestry using his consciousness alone so that he can experience his ancestral past, he saw me. In 10,000 years from now, my descendants are going to look back on me the way that I look back on Abraham. Is that too much? Is that like too much? Like, is that too much for you? What kind of man are you looking for? Someone's got like someone who's got like an established like business or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, I really want to pick your brain and go like, ma'am, Miss Kim, like, what kind of man do you want? Like, I was talking to my neighbor about this yesterday. I'm like, we were talking about how not everybody has the time and energy and motivation that I do. He said I was very lucky. But here's the thing, like, there's no luck about it. There's no luck about it. There is no luck. There is only Hashem. There's Mazel. Mazel Tov? Mazel. It means divine favor. I got Mazel for days. But what I was saying to him was how everyone, should be capable of being able to think that far ahead. A 1-year plan, fuck that, a fucking 24-hour plan, a week plan, a month plan, a year plan, a 5-year plan, 10-year, 100-year, 1,000-year plan. Who's got a 1,000-year plan? As far as I can see, it seems like Elon Musk Elon Musk has a 10,000 year plan. I got a 10,001 year plan. No matter how far Elon Musk can go, I can go one more. I got one more above him. Why? Because Elon Musk is not a God-fearing man. Which plays a really key role in all of this. I serve God so nobody else has to, because nobody else wants to be able to fucking break their ego down. Fine, fuck it. I'll take one for the team. Hashem, I vow to serve you. I vow my entire lineage to you. My descendancy all belongs to you. You don't even have to tell me. You don't even have to command it. They're yours. My children are all yours to command. And they will serve you with a fucking smile. Because each one of them is going to have a piece of me in it. They're not going to be like fucking the Israelites where they get all fucking cranky and they feel like, I'm not going to bow down to nobody. Fuck that nigga, you bowing down. Humanity doesn't want to do it? Fine, fuck it. I will replace all of humanity to serve you, my Lord God Supreme. That's called fucking piety right there. I'm a pious motherfucker. And humble. Rabbi. Yeah, I didn't go to rabbi school like all these other rabbis. I went to the rabbi school of hard knocks. The ultra unorthodox fucking rabbi school. How about that? Catch me outside now. I love that. I was thinking about that the other day. That chick. Do you remember that chick? She was on Dr. Phil. What'd you think about that? Catch me outside. Fuckers. Fucker. All right, what time is it? Got an hour and a half. It is now 3:02. I'm all kind of amped up. I want to start walking home. It's 3 o'clock. Yeah, you know what? Let's start walking back. Unless Hashem, is there anything else like you want me to hang out here for like a little bit more? Don't tell people what you're doing. Why? You know why people say don't tell people what you're doing? It's because the idea is that you can't shit on me. Don't tell people what you're doing because then people are going to shit on what you're doing and then it's going to discourage you from doing what you're doing. Or they're going to try to take your idea. Go ahead. Go ahead. If you can serve God better than me, please, go do it. My Lord, am I right or am I wrong? If someone can do it better than me, go ahead, do it. Go fucking do it. Don't fucking tell me. I'm like Elon Musk. It's not like I don't have any fucking patents. I don't believe in patents. All that intellectual property that I have written down, everything with the geocentric astronomy, that's all my shit. That's mine. I figured it out. There ain't no fucking books that talk about that explain, not that I've seen at least. And if there is, hey, call it a fucking coincidence that I just happen to figure it all out on my own. By using journals. I use notebooks and pens. And my intuition. I allow my intuition to tell me what to do. I get a fucking idea and then I follow it. And then that idea turns out to be something like, what the fuck? I see a future where Elon Musk learns about me and does that. What the fuck? They are real. And then all the Jews are going to jump on the bandwagon. Get in the back, boys. Because what I'm doing is, with a combination with Torah, with my astronomy, well, the astronomy that God's astronomy, Hashem's astronomy. Astro Regia, royal astronomy. With that, what I'm doing is, and with the cycles of the sun, with the cycles of the moon, what I'm doing is I'm synchronizing my body. My biological clock is in sync with the sun and the moon, which are in sync with the secular resonance of the universe itself. Now mind you, there's bigger cycles out there too. we talk about astrology. Yeah, we talk about astrology. That's only one type of astrology. Like right now, we're in Scorpio season. Technically, that's solar-based astronomy. That's solar astronomy. If we move into sidereal or it's sidereal or Vedic, it's the same thing. We're actually in the sign of Libra. The sun right now, where the sun is, Libra. The constellation of Libra is behind the sun, not Scorpio. Scorpio's not going to be in the sign, not going to be there for like another 10 days or so. Sidereal astrology is more aligned with the actual literal placements of the stars in the sky, which is roughly 25 degrees and up to 5 minutes, between 5 and 13 minutes behind Western astrology, which is based on the solar cycles. Everything's based on the seasons. You have the cardinal cross, which is the two equinoxes and then the two solstices. The spring equinox, the vernal equinox, the day of the spring equinox, the sun is at 0 degrees Aries. During the autumnal fall equinox, 0 degrees Libra. At the winter solstice, 0 degrees Capricorn. The summer solstice, that's a winter solstice. The summer solstice, it's 0 degrees Cancer. Each season, that's how we mark the seasons. 3 months of spring, about 90 days. And mind you, it's not exactly to the fucking pinpoint 90 days, but it's about 90 days and some change, or maybe 89 days and some change from the spring equinox to the summer solstice. Same thing from the summer solstice to the fall equinox. Same thing for the fall equinox to the fucking winter solstice. Same thing from the winter solstice to the spring equinox again. And that's divided into 3 30-day months. Those are the signs. Each sign, it's not a sign, it's a month. It's literally a month. Your star sign, your sun sign, is predicated on the season. There's 3 months per season. Now, technically, this is within each season, within each zodiac season, within each zodiac month. There's enough time for exactly 1 full lunar rotation and a little bit of change. That's why sometimes, very rare, but sometimes there'll be two full moons in a sign, or 2 new moons, 2 quarter moons. It's very rare, but it does happen. So for instance, the next time that I'm aware that it's going to happen is when the sun is in Virgo, which is between August 23rd and September 20th, which is when from August 23rd to the fall equinox. That's Virgo season. This coming Virgo season, there's going to be 2 new moons. At least one of them. Probably, I think it's going to be the first one, I believe. No. It's going to be the second one. The second one is going to be... Oh, wow. Well, the second one's going to be Rosh Hashanah. That's Rosh Hashanah, the second one. But it's going to be a solar eclipse, which is interesting because this past Rosh Hashanah was on the Libra solar eclipse. Was a Libra solar eclipse, was Rosh Hashanah. So there's going to be 2 solar eclipses in a row, right? I have to check on that. But now, let's back that up, right? You're doing all this shit in your head. How the hell are you doing all this in your head? So the very first Virgo new moon is going to fall. It's going to fall on the dates where the sun's going to be at between 0 and 1 degrees of Virgo, which is August 23rd And then the second one's going to be at like 29 to 30 degrees. Now, granted, 30 degrees Virgo is 0 degrees Libra, which is the false equinox, which is one of 2 days where an hour is only 60 minutes long. Because that's another thing, is relative time. Let's get into fucking relative time, because that's some shit right there. And it weren't the Babylonians who invented it, by the way. It was the Jews. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't even the Babylonians who developed it. It wasn't the Jews who developed it. The Jews don't rule the world, you fucking anti-Semitic cunts. God rules the world. Our God rules the world. That's who fucking did it. And he's the one who engineered the relative time system that the Babylonians were using. Which that they took from the Jews, because I learned it from King Solomon. King Solomon taught me how to do this. Well, King Solomon laid the foundation for me, and then I just built up from it because I started researching it more. He drew out the timetable. I looked at it and looking for patterns and cycles and sequences that could then be utilized in other areas. He doesn't actually say anything about relative time. It's planetary time. That's what King Solomon taught me. King Solomon taught me how to use planetary time. Once I learned how planetary time worked, then I looked into relative time. Relative time is planetary time. They overlap each other. They're the exact same thing. So astrology uses planetary time. It uses a form of it. It uses a form of relative time. So if you're familiar with the ascendant, right? On everyone's birth chart, you have an ascendant sign. That's where that denotes what sign was on the horizon at the moment you were born. On the opposite end of the spectrum, on the opposite end of the sky, 180 degrees in the other direction, on the other horizon, is the descendant. It takes 12 hours for the sun, from sunrise to sunset. 12 hours, okay? And then it takes another 12 hours from sunset to sunrise. Relative time teaches us that an hour is more and or less than 60 minutes, but it can be 60 minutes. There's only 2 days during the year, well, technically 2 days during the year where an hour is 60 minutes. But it runs like clockwork. That's the thing. So at the 2 equinoxes, we got 60-minute hours, both day and night. As we move from the spring equinox to the summer solstice, we gain about an hour, or I'm sorry, we gain about a minute a day, about. That minute's then subdivided into the 12 relative hours of the day. By the time we get to the summer solstice, one daytime hour is 75 minutes long. One nighttime hour is 45 minutes long. Mind you, it's still 24 hours. We're still working off a 24-hour system. Nothing changes. It's just the length of the hour fluctuates. It waxes and wanes as the sun orbits around the earth. And or the earth orbits around the sun. Now, once we get back, the day following, well, maybe it's about a week. It's about 5 days. 5 days to a week. Before and after the equinoxes and the solstices, where time kind of stops. And what I mean by that is time stops. It's the hour stops increasing and it stops decreasing. It just kind of fluctuates in one very particular range. Just for those 5 days. 5 days before and 5 days after, about. But once we leave the vortex of the summer solstice, then we start losing about a minute a day. Until we come back down to the fall equinox, where, again, we have 60-minute daytime hours and 60-minute nighttime hours. Once we start traveling towards, once we pass through the fall equinox, moving to the winter solstice, we start losing an hour of day and gaining an hour. We start losing a minute of day, gaining a minute of night, because when you take away from the one, you put it with the other. So the time isn't going anywhere. We're just taking one from here and putting that one down there. Does that make sense? So by the time we get to, and now, again, like clockwork, it's fucking mathematics. It's mathematical. It's algebraic. Once we get to the fucking winter solstice, the reverse is true from where we were at with the summer solstice, in that a nighttime hour is 75 minutes. Mind you, there's gonna be a little bit of change in there. Don't fucking, what's up fucking 75 minutes and 13 seconds? Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're averaging. We're allowed to do that. A nighttime hour is 75 minutes long, and a daytime minute's 45 minutes long. Now, what are the bonuses to that? All right. So right now, the fucking sun's gonna set at 4:30. Right? What time is it right now? It is 3. It's like 20 after 3. Right? Hold on. It's 20 after 3. 50. It's quarter after 3. We're in the 11th hour of the day, which runs from 3:05 to 3:55. That means that right now we have a 50-minute hour during the day. It's the 11th hour. So at 3:55, we're going to enter the 12th hour, which is the last hour of day. Okay? That's going to run probably from 3:55 to 5:05. That would be my estimate. Maybe 5:06. From there on, at the cusp of the 12th and 13th hour, which takes place at sunset, sunset's going to be at 5:05, 5:06. We're now into the night. It's going to be 12 more hours until we get back to sunset tomorrow morning. But as of sunset, the length of the hour shifts, because night, we have more night than we do day, right? So now we just calculated, we have a 50-minute hour during the day. That means that we're losing 10 minutes per hour. But we're gaining 10 minutes at night per hour. So we're going to have 70-minute hours at night. 70-minute. And by the time we get to this is going to continue to increase until we get to the winter solstice on December 20th. December 20th, 21st, right? It will be at approximately 75 minutes. And once we pass the winter solstice, we gain about a minute a day. About a minute a day, which is then, like I said, subdivided into those groups of 12. So now consider, right? Somebody goes to work. Somebody went to work today. This morning. By the time they leave their 8-hour shift at, say, 5 o'clock, it's dark. They gotta drive home in the dark. Now, let's just say we were working off of a relative time table. That person could still work an 8-hour shift and be home before sunset. Let's say they go to work let's say they're scheduled to be at work at the 2nd hour of the day. That's 1 relative hour after sunrise. They can still work an 8-hour shift and be home with 2 hours to spare before sunset hits. Oh, you bet your ass that will fuck up society. What the fuck? This is something for the future. In the future, this is the system. This is the way. This dinosaur system that we're using, it's going the way of the dinosaurs. Shannon asked me before, when we were talking to that fellow, Shannon, he asked me, what do I do? This is what I do. I'm setting the standard for how the future is going to play. There comes a day in the future where all of you, all of humanity is back on this system. One universal clock, one universal government, one universal God. That's it. You want to talk about the New World Order? Yo, nigga, we got the New World Order for days. And I don't know about those other New World Orders, but we don't fuck kids on this one. Very much against that. We don't drink baby blood either. Well, I mean, if you want to drink baby blood, I mean, that's really up to you. If you want to fuck kids, that's on you. I mean, whatever, dude. You want to piss off God? Go for it. It's not like you guys aren't pissing off God already. Well, God's all forgiveness. Yeah, but you have to seek forgiveness. You have to seek forgiveness to receive it. If you're not sorry for what you're doing, no one's going to fucking forgive you. Why is there all this suffering? Because you're letting it happen. That's why. Well, God could stop it. Yeah, God could stop it. He very well could stop it. Very well could stop it. But where's it coming from? Is he doing it or are you doing it? Why is he letting it happen? Are you familiar with software engineering? Do you know anybody who's ever coded? There's a phenomenon in the computer science world. It's called debugging. Debugging the system. So every now and then, it's recommended that the software engineers, that what they do is they stop what you're doing, and debug the system. Run the debugger. Run the code. See what happens. Do you know why that is? Because you have to catch the problem before it becomes a problem. Sometimes you have to let the system run. You have to let the system run so that you can catch where the bugs are at. You might have forgot to put a semicolon, right? You might have forgot to put a semicolon in your code, but unfortunately, you have to fucking run through the entire system before you get to it. It might take you hours, it might take you days before that one fuck up presents itself and you get an error. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, technically, I guess the debugger would not allow you to run the software with the problem in it, but that's not true. Look at video games. A lot of video games today. This is one of the big problems with the fucking video game industry, where video game companies, right? Companies, designers, distributors, the engineers, the organizations, institutions, they will release a game that's broken or it's not complete, and they have to do hot fixes and fix things on the fly as it comes up because they didn't take the time. They were so busy trying to get the deadline. They were so busy trying to meet the deadline for the corporate fucking dogs, for the corporate fucking slobs, that they never actually ran through the full game to test it to make sure that it was perfectly fucking flawless. Now, God's a little bit different. See, we don't do things half-assed. We're not trying to meet a deadline. Nigga, we'll fucking wait 2,000 years. We don't plan things in weeks and months. We plan things in decades, centuries, millennia. What Rabbi Jesus was doing 2,000 years ago, he was preparing for right now. My kingdom is in heaven. You know why he said my kingdom is in heaven? Because he didn't have the language to express the kingdom I'm building is in the future. It's not resurrection. Resurrection is a Jewish phenomenon. We do believe in resurrection, the raising of the dead, but not necessarily in the way that literal Larrys see it. It's more akin to reincarnation. but try to imagine that you know who you are. The difference between reincarnated, yeah, we're all reincarnated from something. But the resurrection, you know who the fuck you are. Because you're here continuing the work that you did. There's a really good book. It's called Derek Hashem. By, I'm going to start walking. Rabbi Moses Chaim Luzzatto. The first Italian Jew I ever made acquaintance to. But he wrote this book in the 1400s. Derek Hashem. The Way of God. And in it, he gives a very detailed breakdown of the Jewish perspective of resurrection. And it's funny, because if you read what he wrote, I don't know, this is me at least. When I was reading, I'm like, yo, is he talking about Jesus? Is he talking about Rabbi Jesus? Because he's literally saying all the things. Even the title of the section is the resurrection of the soul. So the way it works, and it's really such an awesome system, and it makes so much sense. It makes me wonder, like, how the fuck? Where did you come up with this? Hashem. That's where God fucking reveals things to certain people, so that what we do is we do the work today. We do the work today. We don't know why we do it. This is what I was saying before. This is why God loves Jews. We do first, ask questions later. Like Rabbi Luzzatto, he probably had no idea. He wasn't expecting me, or maybe he was. Maybe God said to him, do this work because this is the work that's going to bring about the Mashiach. So the way it works, that he explains it, and it's so perfect. It's so perfectly attuned with the story of Jesus, because if you relate it to the story of Jesus, the life and times of Jesus, Rabbi Jesus, as, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. So wait, why don't you guys believe in Jesus? Because literally, Rabbi Luzzatto is talking about Jesus. He's just not saying his name. So, we incarnate into our first life, right? We incarnate into our first life with a mission. Our soul has a mission. But due to external circumstances, we cannot completely fulfill that mission. All we can do is just kind of plant the seeds. Again, look at the life and times of Rabbi Jesus. What he was trying to do, and the people that were against him. The institution itself was against him. I'm not talking about Rome. I'm talking about the other one, Jews. The Pharisees were dead set against everything he was doing, because what he was doing was essentially stripping power away from them and giving it back to the people, which is not what they wanted. Now, the Pharisees, those are the fathers of the modern orthodoxy. So if you're wondering whatever happened to the Pharisees, they evolved into the modern orthodoxy. Now, as it's said, the soul will come up to obstacles that prevent it from completing its mission. Okay? But it's going to do as much as it can. It can express itself to a degree. Let's say in the case of Rabbi Jesus, he only was able to accomplish, say, 20, 30% of what he actually was put here to do. Right? But he planted the seeds. How do we know we planted the seeds? Because Christianity is still here. I can go down the street, there's a fucking church. Everyone knows the name of Rabbi Jesus. They don't know him as Rabbi Jesus, they know him as Jesus the Christ, but that's not the point. Everyone knows him for something. Not everyone follows him, not everyone believes in him, but that's okay. Not everyone's supposed to. Not yet. So once the body dies, once the soul and the body are separated, because the soul is immortal, and technically so is the body to a degree. I mean, the atoms in my body, I'm not the first person to hold on to these atoms. These atoms came from somewhere else, right? Stardust. While the soul and the body are separated, the soul goes to like a kind of like a limbo. Think of it like Dante's Inferno, right? That layout. Inferno, Purgatory, Paradise. The soul goes to like a debriefing area where it is cleansed of all of the impurities and gunk that it picked up. Oh, we gotta do this quick. That it picked up during its first life. Okay? Think of it. Think of Inferno. Think of hell as like a resort almost, kind of like a rehab. It's like a rehabilitation resort for souls who had to fucking sit through the piss and shit and vomit of the physical world. Where'd you get a cigarette from? The guy fucking earlier. You gave me 3. I only smoked the 1. He gave you a lighter. So while the soul is being cleansed on Earth, that lineage, it continues on. That person's ancestry continues evolving and growing. Hey, there's the moon. 11 years ago, or 19 years ago to the day, if we were standing in this exact spot, we'd see the moon in the same spot that it's in. Give or take up to 8 degrees of rotation. You wouldn't even, it would be imperceptible. But the moon would have been right there, and the sun would have been right there. Is that dope? So, time on Earth is still going. Let's say 2,000 years passes. That soul, once that soul is ready, once that soul is cleansed of all of its impurities, it's ready to come back down to Earth to complete the second half of its mission. So try to think of it like Rabbi Jesus planted the seeds, his resurrection. Derek, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Derek. 2,000 years when Derek is born, Derek's mission is to harvest, is to reap what Rabbi Jesus sowed. Yeah, I'm claiming direct descendancy to Jesus Christ. How could you prove that? My dad told me. My dad told everybody. Whether they thought he was joking or not, that's a whole different story. But he and I knew. He told me that this was going to happen to me back when I was a fucking kid. My relationship with my father wasn't the same relationship that my father had with other people. My father taught me magic a long fucking time ago. This what I'm doing now is literally, this is the product. This is the product of this is my life's work. I've been working on this since I was a kid. Now, mind you, did I always believe it? No, of course not. I had my doubts. I told her, like I was saying before, when we were walking up here. God raised me out. God showed me enough shit that eventually I had to go, oh shit, I was wrong. Oh my God, I was so wrong. I'm glad I was. Now, mind you, I'm not saying I'm Jesus, descendant of. His soul is resurrected in me. Just like the soul of Moses is resurrected in me. The soul of Philo. I want to go back. Can we go back and do Philo? I want to do more Philo. Wild. It's crazy. It's crazy enough that it might just work. It's been working out enough for me over these past 6 years that, trust me, I know. I'm good. I am fucking good. I was saying to my mother, she said to me before the election, she goes, if Donald Trump, who'd you vote for? I voted for myself. I wrote myself in for every category. My mother told me, she's like, if Kamala Harris gets elected, we're selling the house. So I just hope you have a plan B. Nigga, I don't need no plan B. My Lord God is my plan A, my plan B, my plan Z. Plan 1, 2, 3. ZYX. Elemental B. He's playing Aleph. He's playing Gimel. He's playing Hey. He's playing Tav. I don't need playing 666. I am Order 666. Well, yeah, my father told me I was the Antichrist. Who's the Antichrist? Antichrist is the Jewish Messiah, Mashiach. Here to build the third temple. That's what this is. This is another brick in the third temple. I have a group on Facebook. That nobody knows about. It's a hidden space. The only people that know about it are whatever secret eyes are watching me on Facebook. The algorithms. It's a private group. It's only me and one other person. But in that group, I'm not even laying the foundation. The foundation for the third temple is already set. Now we're building. It's a digital temple for right now. But digital space transcends physicality, physical space, physical time and space. So in the future, there are people that are examining, breaking apart, and studying all the work that I've been injecting into that one digital space. Not many people know this, but the new Holy of the Holies is on Facebook. Whew, how was that? Yeah, but how are you going to get away with all this? Well, I have a witness. You have to have a witness. There has to be at least one witness, and my witness is in the group. Now, I can't help it that my witness, she's not an active participant in the group, but just the very fact that her digital presence is there, that counts. So, by the time you see this, whoever you are, Elon Musk, hi, my new best friend. The Pope, my predecessor. I want my ring back, by the way. That's my ring that you're wearing. We do have priesthood in my family, so. The priest in the family died, so now it came down to me. I inherited it. Yeah, but what I was saying is, once you see this, I'll have already. We're going to be so far. We're so far ahead of you. This is the takeover. Hold on, I gotta pick my pants up. Oh, see that? Now going back to what I was saying, like this is why this work is so healthy for me, especially that group, because I need to talk about these things, but I have no one to talk to about them. So it's like getting it off my chest. I'm now just clearing out some space, some internal storage, so that I can move on to something a little more productive. How's Philo helping? Well, Philo, the mad Philo of Alexandria. He was a Torah scholar. Hellenist Jew. One of two that I'm aware of. The other Hellenist Jew that I'm aware of from the same timeline is a contemporary of Philo's, Flavius Josephus. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think he's a descendant of the Hasmoneans. So yeah, what do I do? This is what I do. And I fucking kill it. I'm doing amazing. So that's why we need your support. My support? What do you need me to do? I don't know, give me some money. What are you gonna do with it? Buy drugs. That's what I'm gonna fucking do with it. I'm gonna buy drugs and hookers. Whatever the fuck God tells me to do. I just closed out of reading of Shar HaBitachon, The Gated Trust. And I finished that book with level 10 Bitachon. That's profit level. So when I questioned myself as to whether or not I'm really a prophet, God proved it to me. I'm literally the prophet that is mentioned in the book of Maccabees at the very end. You see, because what that book teaches us, what the book of Maccabees teaches us, is that the Hasmoneans, they're the rightful heirs to the throne of Israel until the rise of the next prophet. So the modern Jews today, like, I know you're all sweating King David, but the heir of David, but that's not right. You've been misled. One is a descendant of David and Joseph, David and Ephraim, like, but then also he's got to have Levitical DNA as well as Hasmonean, which I believe were Levitical. Because the next king is also the high priest. So it's like a double whammy. This way everything's consolidated. Hey guys, how you doing? Doing all right. So this time everything's consolidated within the one guy. So instead of having, like, say a board, for instance, I am the board. And the reason for that, if we go to Ezekiel 37, 15 to 25, I believe,